'Tis the season for salting, and this year the City of Toronto expects to salt quite a bit. In fact, it expects to spend about $11 million just on salt to keep our roads and our sidewalks ice-free. Now, it's all done to keep us just a little bit safer this winter, but it's not all that safe, it turns out, for our pets or the environment.
We have a false assumption of security with salt. But furthermore, salt actually does a great deal of damage. It damages infrastructure, it pollutes the rivers significantly, and it damages water quality for drinking water. So in places like Waterloo, they've actually got problems with too much salt in their drinking water wells.
Excessive salting has become such a problem on Toronto's sidewalks that it's evolved into salt shaming online. Like this post, where they point out piles of salt allegedly left on the ground by a business.
We spread far more salt than we need to. You shouldn't be able to see salt on the ground like you can here.
Trevor Ten from the city's road department agrees and says they have guidelines around workers' use of salt.
If there is excessive amount of salt, do let us know. Call 311 and we'll send people out there to have a look. If it's an accidental spill, we'll sweep it up.
The city will spend about $11 million just on salt this winter. And while it has looked at other options, salt still seems to be supreme.
We used sand in the past, part of amalgamation on some of the local roads, but with sand, you got to sweep the sand up and remove it from the catch basins, as well as haul it to the transfer site.
And he says more eco-friendly blends, which are great for residents, are cost prohibitive for a city that uses over 100,000 tons of the other white stuff. Now, a little earlier in the show, we created this. It's supposed to be a homemade solution using rubbing alcohol, dish soap, and warm water that's supposed to de-ice and keep ice and snow, well, essentially off of pavement. So let's give it a try to see if it actually works. So I'm actually spraying it right now, which is exactly what the instructions online told us to do. We've got a little bit of a dent now, but that really would happen with water anyways. So we're just going to let that sit for a couple of minutes and see what happens. So it's been about a minute since we sprayed our homemade concoction on the pavement. You can barely see where we actually sprayed it. It's totally filled up with snow, making this far less useful, although somewhat safer than salt. At Yonge and Dundas, Christina Howarn, City News.